All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back again. I hope every single one of you are doing well. I want to dive into a very interesting topic off the back of this whole Jim Carrey situation. Body double, clone, replaced, soul swapping. There's some interesting takes on the internet. We've done a video reading an article a little while ago which told us Jim Carrey had died and he's more or less been replaced. Now, look, we're not here to speak about if Jim is dead or alive, if it's a body double, if it's a clone. We're not here to talk about that. We're going to be diving into a very interesting topic regarding soul swapping. Now, this I can't get my head around. Soul swapping, soul replacing. What are we talking about? Well, we're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen. I need you to fasten your seatbelts, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave all your thoughts, all your opinions, and all those comments down below. Let's get into it.
I'll switch your wife out and I'll put another one of your wife in her side of her body. And they're walking around and you think that's your wife and it's not your wife. This is what's going on. It's no longer, like I said, it's no longer spiritual. We figured out how to, turn into spirit and exchange the soul in order to control the vessel. So if I have the vessel and I'm just nothing but spirit, I can ruin your life. That's what everybody has been going through. So they can't recognize it unless you say things like the switch. So when they watch that and they see that there's other people that can identify other than me, it's not just me playing games. It's the truth. We have to be careful with who we watch. You'll be in the car with Paul, man, but you're really in the car with Peter.
Mad.
But
this reminds me of the whole Get Out movie, the concept behind the movie. They were more or less soul swapping in that movie. If I want to transfer from one body to another, no matter who that person is, it can be done by the sounds of it. Let's keep listening.
That's Paul's body. But why is Peter in Paul's body? I've been going through this for a while in order to figure out and identify every soul inside of every vessel, to where we can all identify it. And it's not just me that can do it. We can all identify who we are. We can all say, you know what? We're still here.
So how do I know Orlando's in Orlando's body right now?
Ah, man, I would be 6 inches taller. Haven't you seen Kanye?
Why does Ray J look like Kanye now?
Probably because he is.
You say that a lot. You say a lot of people are other people.
Well, no, bro. You have to look at the vessel and look at how things work. If you love someone, you should...
obviously, you can't take everything literally. But it says here that soul swapping is a concept where two beings exchange minds, consciousness, or souls, resulting in them inhabiting each other's bodies. Now, in this clip, Orlando Brown is talking about soul swapping. I know not everyone's going to be taking him seriously. I would also say at this point, just take what you hear with a small pinch of salt. We're just trying to understand the concept at this point. But what he's saying is extremely interesting. And there are a number of people, like it says on the screen, who believe the likes of Selena Gomez, Jim Carrey have gone through this process. And there's more. Ariana Grande as well. There's so many more. Let's move on to the next one. All right, so here we have a guy called Alex Collier. Now, Alex Collier is a very, very interesting guy. He has a story about being in contact with the Adromanans. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, the Adromanans. I remember watching an interview of this guy, which was dated in 1994, and he tells his story, which is an extremely intriguing story. I watched that video years ago. I'm talking probably about a decade ago. And maybe we should react to the full interview because he goes into depth, and some people might think he's lying, some people might think he's making it up, it might just be his imagination, but he does tell a very interesting story. So maybe we'll react to that at some point and put that on the Wax Goes Weird channel. But right now, I want to hear his take on soul replacement techniques. Let's listen to this.
They do, and they can do this during an abduction, during a near-death experience, all kinds of other things. Here's how they do it during an abduction. A man will be taken on board a ship during an abduction. His body will be put into a coma. They will slowly bring the body to death. At the moment it achieves death, the soul exits. You follow? When the soul exits, using technology, they will replace this soul with another and they will bring the body back. They can do this in 4 seconds using technology. He gets up, there's another soul in there. It looks like Batman, but it isn't Batman anymore. It's somebody else who has a completely different agenda. Now, if you're an ET, a negative ET, in order to manipulate third density, you have to be in third density. And this is how they're doing it, along with, their craft and all the other things. But some choose to be in human form. The Orion, this is Orion technology.
A very interesting insight into what soul replacement is, using technology, bringing you to death. And the moment you die, your soul just exits your body, and that's when they will use technology to transfer another soul into that body and bring you alive again. That is crazy. Are you telling me that's what they're doing with these celebrities? And then what are they doing with their souls? Are they just keeping them, taking their souls wherever? Oh my God, what is going on? What are we talking about? This is extremely weird. Like, this is like mind bending. This will have you thinking for years. This will send you down the darkest and the deepest of rabbit holes. Let's check out the next video.
What's that? Oh, according to some recent files that came out, it talks about how not only can humans have a soul replacement, but some entity or other being can take their soul and put it into a human's body. Tell me more! Yeah, with all this new information that's supposed to be coming out soon about aliens, in the files that recently came out, it talks about how alien entities can then take a human, put that human body into a slow coma, and then eventually, once that person passes, within about 4 seconds, the technology they have, they can put a new soul in there in that 4-second period. It says in these files, this is typically done with people like athletes, politicians, and celebrities. Okay then.
Okay. Forgive my hair, it's frizzy, but I'm constantly going down the rabbit hole. Y'all know by now I'm a conspiracy theorist. That's gonna end up being right. Just letting you know. What's up with Stephen Baldwin? Like, it's kind of like giving me Ryan Upchurch with Jelly Roll, because he's always like, Stephen's always coming up on here talking crazy stuff about Hollywood. Like, he's off his rockers, just kind of like Ryan Upchurch. I don't know, I'm not getting it. Or like, the ones that say no, do they make them...
I mean, it makes sense that the ones that say no, or the ones that don't go as far as the others go, end up going insane. Or the perception that we have as the average person looking in is that these guys have gone insane. Like, what's happened to him? He was a bad boy actor 20 years ago, and now he's talking all this conspiracy talk. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? But is it a conspiracy? Like, that's the question. Is it a conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen? Or are these ex-A-listers, have they been exposed to something that was just out of this world, to the point where, the average person just wouldn't be able to comprehend and wrap their head around the reality of what is really going on?
What if selling your soul isn't exactly what everybody says it is? What if it's a contract on your life? What if there's a way, and you can see it in the movies, what if there's a way to remove your soul from your body and have another soul enter your body and take control of it? Everybody thinks people are getting cloned. And maybe they are. Or maybe they're the same person with someone else behind the steering wheel. You get that contract and they say, all right, here you go. We're going to sign you. You got 2 years to go ahead and live it up. We're going to give you all. That's why when you see them, when they blow up, they get all the big deals. Like, it's not everybody. It's just people who take it to that level. And then they're like, you got 2 years. And then they're like, all right, boom. There's a celebrity, somebody else who's about to die. Their soul can leave that body and take over your body. And you go into their body, you die. And the point is, these people could live forever. They just keep getting a new body over and over and over. And they're sorcerers in this perspective, but they've also been learning. If there is sorcery to learn, they've been learning it for thousands of years. Like, it's the same president every four times. Like, there's 4 presidents. They're just a new soul, new body with the same soul. Or it's the same president every time. It's like literally like that. And that's how they control the world.
I mean, that whole president perspective does make a lot of sense, especially if they are trying to play out one agenda.
This can mean when one soul from one person transfers to another person. This means when the soul that's in somebody leaves voluntarily or forcefully. This can mean when one soul from one person transfers to another person. This means when the soul that's in somebody leaves voluntarily or forcefully, and then another one just develops inside of that person. I have had conversations with negative souls, and I have asked them to leave their person, and they have left their person voluntarily. And what happens in that case is that person then develops a new soul inside of them. Souls take time to develop. It's not like you take one and it goes into somebody and it's just there. It takes time to fuse and to grab a hold and to create a new version of the soul, because that's what happens is a new version is created. There's different versions of us everywhere walking around.
So here, this video is interesting. This is quite a long video. It's about 6 minutes long. And this is a lady who claims that she is a soul transfer. She has transferred her soul, basically. Let's listen to this.
A soul transfer. I remember my soul transfer from 2 different bodies, from the one where I'm watching it come into me and the one where it's leaving me and going into my 3-year-old child. And the first one I remember is when I was 3 years old and watching my mother die and take her last breath, and then watching the lips change, the color pulled from her face, and then watching her light come out of her body and enter mine. Something I could never tell anybody growing up. It was something that I gaslit myself on. I told myself that I imagined it because I was traumatized as a child. This is my very first memory, mind you. I don't remember anything before, which I think that's probably typical anyway. But I was a different child. I rebelled against everybody and everything. I knew what I knew. I learned things very quickly. Sewing, dancing, singing, like all of these different things I knew how to do at very early ages, and I knew how to do them well. It's almost as if I started with 39 years of memories to begin with, if that even makes sense. Growing up, people called me a know-it-all or a thing, things like that. I got a lot of judgment for how I grew up. And honestly, I hid a lot of my light. I didn't want to be good at anything because every time I was good at something, I got bullied for it. And so I kept my mouth shut. I kept my wings closed. I kind of hid, and I tried to avoid the light at all costs. And it served me well for a little while until it started manifesting as health issues and things like that, as it does. Don't ever dim your light. It will make you sick. And I didn't quite understand why I knew things that I shouldn't have known. But over the years, I had feelings that felt very strange to me because they didn't feel like they were mine. And I couldn't identify with them the same way. And they felt kind of a part of, like, outside of me. So as I grew up, and I didn't have a mother to really explain these things to, I was kind of isolated. My dad worked. It was just me and my little brother. I visited my sister in the summers, and it was pretty much about it. She was 10 years older than me. So fast forward, I was always afraid of dying at the age of 39. It was something that I told people my whole life growing up. So the year 39 hits, and that was a very hard year for me. I went through a divorce with somebody that I loved way too much, but just couldn't show up. I did not want to divorce them. I've never been that in love in my entire life, but I knew that if I stayed, it would actually kill me. I needed to be genuinely loved, and I felt like I was being taken for granted. I felt like I wasn't valued, and that was something that I just couldn't stand for, and it almost felt subconscious. I almost felt like I didn't have a choice. I had to push it away. So during that year, I was pretty isolated. I had this on and off relationship with somebody that helped me to wake up some more. just because he was so avoidant that it made me question myself. Why am I putting up with this? Why do I make these decisions? Why do I choose these people? And when I started asking these questions, I started getting answers. I didn't like these answers. These answers were scary because it came from different dreams. It came from different people, and it felt very synchronistic to the point to where I knew that somebody was talking to me from different realms. And I just was really open to that. And so I said, you know, my mother was a psychic. My mother knew things before they were going to happen. This has to be something to do with that. So I started going down the whole journey of spiritual stuff. I started navigating witchcraft and demons and angels and diving deep. I started learning a lot about religion. I started learning all the lies of the universe. I really genuinely, every veil, one by one, just kept coming right off my soul. And I was like, oh my God, like, does nobody else see these things? Everything is fake. Everything is made up. None of this is real. Nobody seems to know. I felt so alone. And so through that process, I decided to just go ahead and fully trust everything else that I couldn't see. Because at this point, I couldn't trust anything that I could. And so I started asking Spirit and my guides to show me more, and they did. And on the day of my mother's death, 36 years later, she died in 1988 during a Lionsgate portal. She was 39 years old. It was 2024 during a Lionsgate portal. Just so happens they were both the year of the dragon. I don't know if that's actually relevant or not, but it was relevant to me. And I asked to see my past life. When that happened, I saw her put her soul in my body from her angle, and then it closed the loop. I all of a sudden remembered everything. I remembered things about how she knew all of the stuff that she knew. I started remembering her dreams. I started seeing where she came from and her bloodline. She was Rh negative. I started understanding how everything in this universe works. I started unraveling the code in my DNA. And when that happened, I started understanding quantum mechanics, quantum physics, neuroscience. I started understanding things that I never picked a book up on. I had zero business knowing any of the stuff that I knew. But the truth of the matter is that when you are directly connected to Source, you know things. You don't know why you know them, but you know them. Most of the women that are probably going to see this video will know exactly what I'm talking about. With that being said, I remembered everything. It was like a flashbang of a situation and an experience for sure, and it's taken me the last 2 years to unpack it all. So as I'm integrating everything that I've learned, and I've realized that I'm not built for the typical world. I'm supposed to be in it, not of it. I'm celibate, I'm single, I'm the healthiest I've ever been. I'm growing every single day. I get a second chance. I get to now live the second half of the life that my mother didn't get to live. And girl, we're going to live it.
That was extremely interesting, ladies and gentlemen. I need to know exactly what you are thinking after listening to that.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody like talking 1,000 miles an hour up there, receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
Getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second.
Everybody like
Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Is
receiving their awards, and I was like, I'm dead.
Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
So you're just passing
We don't
through.
matter. We don't matter.
Then I watched everybody like talking.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear as day this person on the screen is not Jim Carrey, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the whole reason why we're here looking at this whole concept of soul swapping. It's an extremely bizarre concept, one that most people would struggle to comprehend, I'll tell you that. What I need from you right now, ladies and gentlemen, is to leave all your thoughts and all your opinions down below. Is this something that you actually believe in? Soul swapping, being replaced. Is it possible? Do we have the technology to do it? Is it being done before our eyes? Is it something that you would do? Weird question. Leave all of that down below. I need to know exactly what you guys are thinking. Before we leave, hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel if we are newly watching. Tell a friend to subscribe to the channel because we are on road to 100,000 subscribers. And I need your help to get there. So make sure you share these videos, turn your notification bells on, hit that like button and the hype button. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.